You got said we pick Team B, so
Okay. Yeah, Team A is better, but if they want to,
I suppose. All right, sister. Let's go back to our drop pod and yeah, can take the ban play. You did good. Oh, she left already. See ya, guys.
all right, see ya.
Yeah, good luck.
So basically, we're seeing Dakari get picked right off the bat. I will say this: currently in the tournament, the team that has picked Dakari has won every single match. Now, do I think that's a coincidence? Not exactly, but I do think though we haven't the very high caliber players in the tournament. We haven't with the Demos and Ottoman. Drakari was never in those matchups. But it'd be interesting to see how the very top players in the tournament do against the witch spam. Okay, Cernosor picks Orcs, and we ban Dark Elder again. So
Okay. Well, Kazar should lock in his Astra again. He thought they were going to ban Astra.
Go take a bath.
And they did it.
Joshua, I'm talking to you, Joshy. Oh gosh, 4-year-olds. So what is the first faction Team Khazar is going to pick? They went with Sisters as their first pick last game. Now, I will say Orcs is Cernosor's main faction.
Now they're going to follow the same strategy.
Same strategy, yeah, Sisters again. Well, okay, so
I agree.
for players in the community, basically, we call the person playing sister, but that's sort of her bread and butter main faction that she plays and she's most comfortable with. Likewise, Cernosor, he is the most well-known orc player within the Gladius PvP community. That's his main faction. So we are seeing a strategy here of people picking their best mains. Yurga has requested for Eldar to be banned. So on Khazar's side, there's no teleportation factions that can be picked at all. Astra is going to be picked. That's you saw how deadly Khazar was with Astra that last game. It surprised me that they didn't want to ban Astra after how good he was. But okay, so they're going to ban Admech. Admech is very powerful. With Orc though, this is things you have to think about when you start seeing factions being selected. You might want to consider, like, okay, out of all the factions that are left, which one gives the most synergy with this particular faction? So Orc being on the table, they thought, oh, Admech, they don't want to deal with Admech. They pick Aldari. So again, Aldari is going to go to Yurga again. Although, again, I wasn't too impressed with Yurga's play last game, although everybody can have a bad game. But let's see if he changes things up. Hopefully we're not going to see 4 Rangers again. And but in this matchup, again, it's the same. They're facing the same matchup against Sisters and Astra Militarum. So will Khazar team go the same sort of build that worked for them in game 2? Again, the respawns will a lot of times dictate maybe the best optimal build orders. So looking at Khazar's location, it has a lot of desert. He has volcanic to the left that he can see. But this might be, he sees a pasture, but it's a pasture on a savanna, which isn't the best, but it's river though, which is actually not bad. It's a 2-turn settlement. He does have the science on a desert he can kind of settle. So that's a possibility. We'll go back.
In the desert, He has an ore on a desert, possibly for second base. However, I
Yeah,
don't
he
like to
doesn't.
see
Oh,
the
okay.
volcanic.
Yeah, he
Let me see
does.
the
Oh, we
volcanic
get a
flat.
re. Wow.
Oh,
So that is
okay.
that's a re.
Oh,
You're able to use one re in the series, and so uh,
I wanted to take a look at Sister's starting location, which I didn't have a chance to do. I wonder what her start looked like, but
yeah,
I guess
she's the
we'll
one
never
that
know.
requested the re, right?
Right.
Yeah,
I'm not sure because I'm like
we,
we're not in their channel, so we don't
yeah, we
know.
were focused on Kazar's location at first, but I assume her location was pretty bad. But here's the thing: you called a re, your start this game might be even worse. So like this could literally, it's dangerous. I mean, you want to call a re when you feel like there's
There's nothing. There's literally
nothing there for you. Like it is a
right.
bad start,
Yeah.
and we gotta. Okay, I'm just gonna kick him. He's not ready.
Mm-hmm. Perfect.
All right, so we got our start location. So no more rees for
Mm,
Team Kazar. Kazar's kind of
mm,
in a awkward place with a
oh,
lot of rivers and wireweed. So cliffs.
oh,
Uh,
this is a tough spot for
he
Kazar. I'm not
does
gonna
have the
lie.
research advantage on Arctic, though. I will say that. But yeah, the map terrain looks pretty rough. Sister has a pretty good open starting location where she can grab a lot of
Yeah.
outposts. But Kazar is definitely not loving it over there with rivers and wireweed.
Of
I think
course.
he's probably telling her, "Did you really have to ask Sari that last game? Was it that bad?" Maybe that's what he's saying to her right now. If we look over, now you could hope that your opponent also feels like their start isn't that great, but I think Elder has a good start location already. Orc has desert, and as you know, desert orcs sometimes like to go Daka Jets. We have not seen the Daka Jets in the tournament yet. Are we going to see
Okay.
it? We do have visual on a desert relay pipe. That smells like
Mm-hmm.
some Daka Jets. You do have a science outpost to the left.
Mm-hmm. We
That could,
do.
yeah, it's a two-turn settle. And we get a re, and that's
Oh,
unfortunate because Kazar had a really stinky location
and
far
this
as
is what I
terrain
was gonna
goes.
say. You don't know what your opponent
Yeah,
has, so this I think, saved Kazar as
saves
well.
Kazar's ass big
This is
time.
where
Yeah.
luck comes into play. So that was an interesting turn of events. Very interesting.
Yeah, I would say Kazar's bacon got saved on that one.
Why did the Russian team use a read there? Their starts look fine to me.
Yeah, it was.
Was that questionable or what?
I looked at their locations and I saw freaking Daka jets. He could have he had literally sort of the Daka jet
You know what I'm
promised
thinking?
land, you know?
Maybe that's just not his favorite build.
Yeah,
Maybe
you know
he
what?
just,
I don't
yeah.
see him always go Daka Jets. But consider the
And
faction lineup, right? You got Astra that has Hydras again, so that's a
yes,
good counter
you're
to the
right.
Daka Jets.
You're right.
And then you
And
have
Sisters
Sisters
has
with Exorcist,
with
which is also a good
yes.
counter to Daka. So
Yeah, you're
maybe he
right.
thought,
That's
yes, I have the Daka Jets start, but guess what? I'm against two factions that actually do pretty
counter.
well against
Yeah,
Daka Jets.
correct.
Again, a lot right in here. Both teams have used their rees for the series. There's no more rees.
Right.
Everybody's locked into this final match.
Eldar's main is very poor in food, but he's got great energy. He's got
Right.
the Promethean relay pipe.
Definitely want to go Warlocks, but I think I don't know his obviously when I play Eldar, my build's a lot different than Yurga, but um,
Kazar's got the ultimate build. Kazar's got the ultimate start for what
Oh.
could be
he could go
Vision-
heroes too. I mean, he's got a lot of influence. He's starting on the influence Arctic. So are we gonna see maybe he's gonna go his commissar build here, which we've seen him do a few times, not in the tournament but in casual games. We are seeing book first from Sister, so that's kind of standard from her. All tournament games have been a book first from her. Kazar, he's going on to the green on the tile acquisition. So we're gonna see. I think maybe barracks or maybe. I mean, I think we're gonna see the Commissar build from him.
That could very well be it.
Now I will say against Orcs, it's not a bad idea. I mean, Orcs love to go lots of infantry too, and I think Astra infantry versus Orcs infantry is a pretty close matchup, pretty even. I think it boils down to also Astra got another great sort of assault type unit that deals really good damage to chaff units. That artillery sort of. I forget what it's called. I don't know if it's called artillery, but
you're talking about the field ordnance batteries.
Yeah, those are pretty good as well.
Artillery teams.
All right, so are we? Okay, interesting. We're not seeing Or first from the Eldar player. That's kind of spicy. Are we gonna see a barracks first from Eldar? That could mean he's going full on rush. If we see we're seeing a book from Eldar. Okay, yeah.
They're actually be weird because he doesn't have the food.
Right, it wouldn't make any sense. But I'm thinking more because Yurga he tends to play aggressive a lot of games. But no, we're seeing a book first Eldar. Okay, so definitely no rush from Eldar. Orc is Orc doing Daka first?
Okay, looking very beastly. Cerno Sir is gonna have. I just want to make a prediction.
A lot of boys.
If I'm wrong, you can tell me later, but I'm thinking by turn 30, 35, he's gonna have like 20 Orc infantry. He is gonna have.
Yeah, I mean, opening with the barracks first, I believe you. And the type of player Cerno Sir is. He's very good at clearing wildlife with Orcs because he plays them a lot. So he's very familiar with, putting Orc boys on fungal to heal them and being careful when killing wildlife. So it should be an interesting game. There's so many different builds that I've seen him do over the years. I've seen him do like two.
Oh my! That's right. Look in the top left corner. Look at this Umbra city. This is not
okay, good for him, though. Guys. He's gotta
turn around.
Yeah.
He's got to turn around and head the other way because this is going to be a disaster if he aggros these Umbras by accident.
Yeah, he's not going to aggro them. I think he just wants to farm the gate, but now he's backing off to get the skull. Yeah. So this is very out of all the games I've ever played in Gladius, this has been the most Umbras I've ever seen in one quadrant. I've never seen this level of Umbras. In fact. I mean, this is RNG generated, so I guess the RNG really went high rolled into Umbras in the corner here, or maybe it glitched out. Basically, it spat out too many Umbras, but that's a no-go zone until you get something that's good against Umbras, basically. But he can get it. He can grab the outposts on the outside perimeter, but going in there is you're a dead man walking. That is way too many Umbras.
You can get mech guns and you can take care of those Umbras easily because one mech gun can just kill it indefinitely.
Yeah, that's true. Wow. I mean, yeah, that is something else. I played this game a lot. I've never seen that many Umbras in one area. Like I've seen a little party here and there, like okay, there's 4 or 5 of them, but we're talking about this is over 10. This 14. Is like 14 Umbras, and again, half of them are level 4 Umbras, like so they're not little tiny 0 Umbras. These are like beefy little Umbras too at the best. Weird situations, and in a tournament game, this is quite comical. I mean, I would laugh so hard if he tries to farm that area. Like it's gonna be kind of difficult. So is that a boon or a bane for Cerno Sir? Time will tell. But I mean, if he can kill them and if he has some early Orc heroes, he's gonna be level 6 in no time. But like you said, Orc boy, he'll have to go a certain type of unit. Like you said, a mech gun would work really well.
Mech gun with a
tank busters, but then they take damage when they kill them.
Yeah.
Pretty straightforward opening build from Sisters. We're gonna see science book into armory into expansion building and then into whatever build she's going for. But it could be the same build that we saw last time since she did. She is seeing volcanic down there, so maybe she's gonna be going.
Welcome to vehicle building once again. Very
We are seeing some spice. We're seeing a barracks first from
Whoa.
and hero. Okay, so this is the
And hero building.
this is the
Wow.
Khazar shake and bake Kami build here, which is similar. It's a little similar. Like when I played Astra, I would go kind of like similar early barracks, early hero, but I would also throw in a Tremere, an armory too to get the mobility as well.
Right.
So very interesting. That book is finishing a double book, Elder. That is now I main Elder as when I say main, I mean this is the faction I play a lot predominantly. I'm not a fan of the double book Elder, but it does allow you to tech to say Warlocks extremely fast or tech to like maybe your Fire Prism really fast. But other than that, I mean maybe like you're trying to go for a really early Warwalker, but even that, your army size is going to be very small. But
That's
yeah,
the problem.
we are seeing so that will allow him to get an expansion quick, but you're not going to be able to get 3 cities right away because you need aura, you need influence. So
I'm interested to see how this is going to work out. Actually, I'm
Right.
very interested to see how this double book is going to.
I think he's gonna, like I said, he's got to be trying to tech into some particular unit. Now, Warlocks seem like a legitimate fast tech, but Fire Prisms, you have to have the economy and the production to get them out quickly. And then the other candidate is a Warwalker, but that's really out there. That's a very far tech thing. But again, will this double book pay off? Double book Elder is not a very common build. I will say that. Not many Elder players even consider double book Elder. Whereas other factions seem to have a better advantage on double book. But I'm curious to see this because I'm not 100% sold on double book Elder.
Me too. I like your take on Eldar to get either early racks or early vehicle building.
I just got to step out for 1 minute, but keep going, okay? I'll be right back.
Yeah, I want to see Eldar getting units. I want to see Eldar pushing out on the map and taking outposts because Eldar economy shines when they get a lot of map control. In order to expand, they need influence outposts. I like the idea of getting your expansion early, but if you don't have the resources, if you don't have the influence, if you don't have the ore, you won't be able to afford that triple base. So let's see what he can make happen. Sir, our community orc player, he looks like he has going Burna Boys, which is a new unit for the orcs. It's a brand new unit that they got with the last expansion, or maybe I should say add-on to the game. Burna Boys are extremely effective. They're only a range 1 unit. However, they have flamethrowers that deal amazing damage against infantry. So you're going to see that they're going to make extremely fast work of these neutrals. And he's just going to clear the map very quickly, very efficiently, gaining a lot of resources. Because the orc faction gets resources from fighting. They get influence from hitting their enemies, and they get ore from killing their enemies. This allows them to ramp up their economy. So so far, Cerno Sir is controlling a very large number of outposts and doing an awesome job at it. So props to him. Now here we have Sister Sister's only on one base so far. Obviously, it's only turn 12. But what's crazy is they're actually going to come into contact with each other
Yeah, quite
very,
early. I'm back.
very soon. Cernostar and Sister are very close to each other, and Cernostar's pushing forward aggressively. I mean, just look at the number of outposts he's already controlling.
Yeah, Barrick's first orc is very scary. He actually did 2 barracks, so
Yes.
we're gonna see some. Yes, I'm making the steak for you. Go get your clothes changed. So we're definitely gonna see some very aggressive orc here. Okay, change them. So here's the thing, though. So I think
Now,
this
the
is what I
Alpha
think.
player- yeah.
Cernostar is going very aggressive in the production, but if his early aggression fails, he has a backup plan, a double book Eldar, right? So
Yes.
it's kind of like a security play. Like if his aggression doesn't do that much, he has his partner that's going very greed with double book.
Yeah, they have a plan B.
They have a
to
plan
fall
B,
back on.
exactly. So this is very interesting. And again, it could be a twofold thing. If say Eldar was at risk of getting base siege, he has that big early army to help him protect him. So it's a twofold thing.
It is. However, if Sister and Khazar did an aggressive build together, as you can see, they're very close distance-wise. If they did an aggressive build together and hit the orc, will he be able to stay alive long enough for the Eldar double book to pay itself off and to receive the support from the Eldar, which will take time to happen? That is the question as well that we have to ask ourselves. So let's see, because once again, the orc is going aggressive build, but so is Astra this game. Astra's not doing the tank build. He's going infantry with a Commissar, which is going to have a pretty big power spike in the early game. So let's see what happens. And Astra actually just secured his HP relic, which is a big deal for the Astra infantry because they have pretty good HP pools. Those guardsmen are not easy to take down. And that's going to go a long way. I wonder what kind of upgrades he's going to be getting. So far, he's got frag grenades, which are, I think, a really big deal and go a really long way when it comes to playing Astra infantry. Oh boy, what a completely different game we have here. I love how different every game of Gladius is. It's kind of like for anybody watching, if you play the tabletop, you know that even though you're playing 2 of the same armies, maybe facing against each other, you're going to be the way the battle's going to flow is going to be completely different. But Gladius is even more different because you have economy involved, whereas in the tabletop, you don't.
Yeah, you just have a set amount of points and victory conditions.
You just have a point allocation, exactly. So Gladius makes it even more exciting because depending on the terrain and the tile set that you get, you can choose a strategy and a build. So this is going to be a very different kind of game.
See the Burner Boys out in mass.
Yep.
Really good, cheap infantry killer. They are glass cannons, but man, they shred chaff units and lower armor infantry like there's no tomorrow. And the key factor is they're cheap. They're super cheap. They're one of the cheapest sort of units in the game, and they're very good at what they do for their value.
Effective. They're so cost effective at what they do. And when you get, just really, you could say that Sternoster was unlucky due to the Umbras in one area, but I have to say on the flip side of that coin, on the opposite area, he had the best kind of neutrals he could have hoped for. It was basically Chaos Cultists and Poxwalkers, which are the perfect.
Yeah, you shred those guys.
Perfect opponents against the Burner Boys. So he's just been making short work of these neutrals, getting a lot of influence and ore for killing them, and just I mean, just taking over the map, man. He is just he's just rolling like a little snowball right now, getting bigger and bigger as time goes.
Now, I
His
will
economy's gonna
say that the
drop.
immolators are a decent unit versus Burner Boys because
No
I
doubt.
don't think they have open top. If they had open top, then no, Burner Boys would do much better versus them. So because they don't have the open top trait, the flamethrower doesn't do a whole lot to immortals. So and Sister actually dodged a pretty big bullet there by going the armory first.
Yes, you're right. Actually.
Or after book then armory. She's getting the best unit for her faction in the early game versus the Burner Boy spam. So that's
Yeah.
pretty nice.
Yeah, that's working out very well. Okay, the Commissar has just gotten out. It turned 17. Wow, that's a very early Commissar. Good job.
Yep. Now he's gonna make a beeline to the trader. And he's gonna do that because most likely he'll get the icon first, or maybe scroll. We'll see.
Yeah, I wonder how he's going to transition out of here because his influence is still looking fairly decent. His energy and his food is actually, funnily enough, is what's going to need help right now. So I wonder how he's going to go about that. How far away is he from his first expansion here? Okay, good.
We are seeing some barracks being produced from Yurga, the Elder player. So my guess is Warlocks. That's I think he wants to. Here's my thinking. They want to get to super quick Warlocks, and hopefully with that higher tech tree, do a very early sim off turn and hit the Khazar team unexpected with these very high tech units. Yurga won't have a ton of Warlocks, but he'll have maybe 1 or 2. 3 at the most when they probably declare sim off, and those 3 might be enough damage to really swing the battle of the first engagement. The nice thing about Warlocks is they have teleportation, so he can kind of spam them to the battlefield right away, quick, in succession.
That is if he has enough influence to do so. Hold on, I've just seen a big influence spending.
Yeah, he built second base, food base. Yeah, you need the food in order to mass produce these. Like if you look at his bank for energy, because his city was founded on a desert, this double book move is actually kind of a genius move, because when you think about it, he doesn't need that third base to be, the power city or whatever, because his main city is energy based. So it actually is quite clever, and we're gonna see some really early Warlocks, and I imagine sim turns is gonna be requested pretty quickly this game. So we're gonna see kind of like a all-in sort of rush, 2 baser. That's what it looks like. But with the crazy part being a double book, but going for a super early high tech unit to tip the first engagement, and they're gonna look like they're gonna pick Sister, War 21.
Oh wow.
And sim will get declared off at the start of turn 20.
Oh wow, look at these burner boys. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 burner boys with 5 boys. Whoa, this is some early game power right here. And
yeah, 33 research at turn 19 from
got
Elder.
a log level of 10 built up. Whoa.
Yeah, he's been burning a lot of wildlife.
Yeah. This
might be a quick and a quick game here.
Game.
Yeah, it's all gonna boil down to how well Yurga and Sonosur do this timing push.
Well, depending on the engagement and how it happens.
Yeah. Now here's the thing, Khazar did go barracks into hero build, so Khazar's in not a terrible position to try to help Sister's build is a lot slower, but then it picks up mid-game, kind of like a Tyranid player. So we're gonna go sim off here, and then war is gonna be 21. So ladies and gentlemen, get ready, because things are about to get pretty spicy.
I don't know if Khazar, if a one Rax is gonna be able to contest the double.
I mean,
Rax
but it was an
tower.
early Rax, though. I'll give you that. Yes, it's only one Rax, but that was the first building he built. So
I know, but remember, Cernosur opened up with 2 Rax.
yeah, for sure. So here's the thing: if the matchup is Burner Boys versus Khazar's army, the Orc player is gonna win. But if the Orc tries to,
he picked up a wing.
yeah, he picked up the wing, which is very smart. But I think it's going to boil down to this: if the matchup, if the Burner Boys are matching against the Immolators, then Khazar's team has a chance. But here's the wild card: if you throw in Warlocks in the mix, now you're in trouble because Warlocks are going to, with the Cleansing Flame, one shot or just with the melee, take out those Immolators, no problem. Also, the captain's got to be careful because I know he has the wing, which is huge. So I guess here's the thing, and Khazar is also very intelligent here. They declared Sim off super early, so instead of buying an icon, Khazar buys a combat item. Very smart move. Because look, you could buy an icon, but if the game's over at turn 25, what's the point? You know. So very very calculated move here from Khazar. Now this might come in clutch. Time will see how well he uses the wing here, but again, like I said, that is a pro play. If you know your opponent is all in, try to rush you, kill you, there's no purpose in buying an icon or something because that's more for a later game. Yes, so Khazar smells something. He knows that there is some danger zone going on right now. Now here's the thing. I don't know if Cernosur scouted the Immolator, and maybe that's why he's choosing to go more south, and maybe he wants the matchup with Astra, because I don't know. Again, I'm not sure if he had visual of a Immolator. I don't think so, but he's more positioning his troops to the south. Now, maybe psychologically they want to get them fearful, like Sim off, and now what Cernosur is doing is playing the more waiting game and waiting for Astra to overextend, and then he's going to pounce on them and take a bunch of his units. So that's sort of what I think is happening. I mean, Fog of War, he knows there's that tree line where the Commissar is, and he can probably predict that's where the units are. But he's playing the waiting game, patient. And I think we're also waiting on the Warlocks to be researched. So, yeah. But
yeah, that could very well be a thing. He has to definitely wait on the Eldar player because he knows that if he engages now, it may be a 1v2 battle. So he's just biding his time. I think he also understands that I really like Burning Boys. I think the ultimate way to use them is in a defensive manner. You actually want units to move into your Overwatch. They're kind of like Guardian. You want to build layers. You want to build layers of Burner Boys, and as the enemy's coming into you,
they just get annihilated.
They're just literally getting annihilated, and yeah, they can counterattack with their second layer, but then as soon as they try to move up again,
and they're in cover too. Sometimes you can't delete them in cover with one unit. You need 2 units.
Exactly.
So
that's right. So good positioning there.
But yeah, I like this play, like, because even like they sim off, but it's that psychological thing too. Like even if he didn't go into Sister's base area, which I think was a smart way, and even smarter if he scouted and saw the Immolator, then obviously that was 100% the right move because your Burner Boys are not going to do well against the Immolator. So I think right now he's playing smart. He's getting map control, getting these special resources, and maybe potentially trying to knock heads in with Astra Militarum. He does see the blue outposts that Astra has, so he can make a judgment call that Astra is sort of in that area. Again, he has way more troops than Astra has, so again, if Khazar's like, oh, I'm going to push you, it's not going to go well for Khazar, because like you said, 2 Daka versus 1 barracks, you're not going to outnumber the Orc player, so you have to play more defensive game, get your death ball going, so with the death ball, you can kill an army that's bigger than yours if you play effectively.
Maybe a situation where some players that may make an argument for not going hero can maybe have a good argument. They say, look, yeah, look at here. For example, Khazar went hero. I didn't go hero, but look, I have my army is triple his size.
Right.
Will the commissar give him enough value to make up for more than half the orc army? I think the argument right now would be no.
So where the commissar is gonna really start to pop off is once you have that big death ball of infantry, right? Which he doesn't have that. Like you said, he has kind of a skeleton death ball, but once that first attack from Oric takes a few of his units, he's got no more, like not enough to do anything with the commissar. So it's and he's building these heavy teams, which is unfortunate because we're seeing both infantry from the Russians. So the heavy teams are actually more of a liability, to be honest.
They are. I mean, they do give you range 3.
Yeah.
In all fairness, and they can have fragments.
Yeah, I think though, like it's like you said, it's totally understandable to go like 2 to 3 heavy teams off the bat. But if he goes more than that, it's going to be a liability. I think you want more guardsmen, and then later, the Tempted Scions.
He only has around 3.
But
I think
if he could,
2 that are built and a third one on the way.
That artillery type unit, does that come from the barracks or the armory?
It does. This is a barracks unit.
Oh, okay. So
and actually, I'm quite surprised at how cheap it is for.
That's the type of unit he needs, because that thing will be amazing versus this sort of matchup that we're seeing with lots of infantry.
Definitely. That unit is basically what he needs really badly right now to have any chance of doing enough damage to whittle down this orc army, because Burner Boys may seem like they're glass cannons, but when they're in cover and when they're in such big numbers, if you can't kill enough of them quickly enough, you're going to get overwhelmed, and they're going to out damage the Astra infantry by far. So it's going to become a DPS race.
Another thing that
winning.
Yeah, another thing you got to mention too is here's a tactic they could try, which we might see, is Cerno Sir keeps them on their tiptoes near Sister's base area, but the Elder player is going to teleport and gate into Khazar's base and try to snipe it. So we might see a sneaky Elder base snipe here by keeping your opponent sort of busy in one area, and then concentrating a raiding party into, because all Yorga has to do, there's a couple gates that aren't destroyed. If he takes it, teleports a unit, now your warlocks can warp in as well. So it is kind of a risky play to do.
I think Sir sees their army now.
Yes, he has a sentry at 23-28, and that's giving him some vital intel. So you can see an immolator, so he could definitely say, okay, perhaps his sister's armory build.
Oh, I wonder. Hold on, Sister has nothing in the queue. She doesn't have any She doesn't have an immolator queued up, and she doesn't have any heroes. A Canoness or St. Celestine is not being built at the moment, so I wonder what she's saving up for here.
Yeah, third city, that's what it is. Yep.
That's what it is.
Now this is risky. This is very tempting. You have an immolator that is carrying a hospitaller, and its life is only at 12. But the question is now, why are we just preventing him? But then again, you have to eat a lot of Overwatch, so it's yeah, it's very enticing sort of target, but unfortunately, he does have a tank buster that almost kills it. But he doesn't have the move range. Even if you use Here We Go, it's still short of the move range to get off a hit. But
I wonder what Sister's thinking at the moment with that immolator and that.
It's a very risky play. But again, I mean, there is quite a lot of Overwatch. But again, I would be crapping my pants a little bit.
I wonder if that's almost like a bait, like a little carrot and a stick, like come take it.
I don't know, but it's definitely very tempting. In fact, he's probably talking about it right now, like, oh man, I wish I could kill that. Because here's the thing, losing a hospital building your third base is a huge delay, exactly, for the type of build Sister wants to do.
Yes,
so
especially since he's cutting production right now.
Right, in order to get that economic advantage for mid to late game, yes.
Interesting. What is she thinking though? Why is it?
Now we are seeing the first Warlock being produced as we predicted. So it's coming out of the main base with 2 barracks. You also have the second base also trying to build another barracks.
Dragons are also finished, and they could also be
yeah. But again, like I said, it's going to be a much more smaller type high-tech army from Orange. But again, these units can make a huge difference in just like the raw power. But now, I think
where's Astra infantry? I mean, I don't see a stream of Astra units coming. What's going on here? And hold on a second, Astra is still in 1 base. What is the matter here?
Yeah, well, the engineer's coming out of the base right now.
He bought the wing. He bought the wing, and he couldn't afford a second. That's why his engineer's just been chilling there the whole time.
Yeah, so the psychological thing definitely, I think, worked out. It definitely scared Khazar to the point of, I gotta buy this wing and protect from a rush. But and again, we've seen some of the Russian teams go all in rushes at turn 20-ish.
So the base just went down. Astra's second base just went down, but turn 20.
But again, look how awesome. That's a very difficult base to siege. Like, you got a choke point, and then you have water in between and a cliff. So I give that. Oh, there we go. That's what you're talking about. That really damaging in the forest burner boy there. Now here's Khazar's got to be careful because, like you said, that's a 2 Daka start orc, and the numbers are not on your side. Yes, you built the barracks and the hero, but your force is very limited. It's a small crack force, but once that orc horde starts coming at you full throttle, your numbers aren't going to match their numbers. So he needs to be careful. He can't be bleeding. The Astral player can't be bleeding units here.
Also, don't like the heavy weapon team just being left out in the middle like that. I want to see him being protected by his troops.
Yeah, that heavy team is here we go danger. Can get hit by the boys.
Now, Khazar's economy is suffering big time. He's adding another barracks, but the problem is his ore and his food are quite low right now, to the point where I don't know if he'll be able to sustain production for a very long time.
But what Khazar's noticing now, he goes, okay, I'm seeing burner boys, and that is not good for Khazar. He doesn't want to see burner boys, especially that he's gone infantry.
Ooh, look at this. And this is what I was going to mention. If Cerno Sur builds burner boys and tank busters, this is an orc composition
that can take on anything.
Effective at dealing with anything you could potentially throw.
It's a very it's kind of like Space Marine when Space Marine goes like infantry and with a melta bomb, like you cover everything. You got like anti-vehicle, anti-infantry.
Cerno Sur has a very cheap, numerous and expendable simple army that he can mass and he can sustain producing constantly for a very long time, and he's got all his bases covered. He has tank busters, which are great against vehicles.
Now I will say this, Falana, is that Cerno Sur has a huge army that we know, but at the end of the day, it's a 1 versus 2 right now, and that's against Cerno Sur. So yes, he has this huge army, but guess what? He's battling 2 players, right? So and his army is kind of stretched quite wide here. He's got a force quite like down at the bottom. Maybe he's gonna ambush those the engineer plus the heavy team.
Oh, this is exciting, my friend. There's a war boss on the way. 5 turns till he's out. Wonderful news. And I was gonna say he actually
284 influence so far.
very late as well.
Yeah. And the first Warlock will be popping out from Yurga.
Oh, there goes the guardsman.
Yeah.
Okay, so he's aggressively moving up.
So the real question is, how does Kassar feel? Now, if they were smart, use Immolator to eat the Overwatch of the Flame Boys. But now he also has to be careful of Tank Busters. That's another thing you have to be mindful of, because Tank Busters do a lot of damage to vehicles. So, I mean, Guardsmen are awesome at scouting, but if they run into a Burner Boy, goodbye, Guardsmen. So
yeah, this is a very tough situation. I'm not gonna lie. This is a dead little squad that they're facing. They gotta be They gotta tread very carefully here. I don't know what kind of composition can they build to outtrade this Orc army. I mean, this is not going to be easy. This is a tough puzzle to solve. That's all I'm going to say about that one. I mean, you need artillery teams.
Also, I'm a little Kassar. It looks like Kassar will lose an engineer and a heavy team to this like Orc little raiding party that's like kind of south from the main army.
Oh,
yeah,
that's a good little move right there.
They're gonna
He's gonna cut off his reinforcements.
Well, the only thing I will say, Kassar can see these two units, so that's the only. So here's the thing: Kassar's not because the outpost is giving him vision, so he is gonna escape this bullet. I mean, I guess if Sursur was really good, he would place a unit here and try not to see if he's gonna run back now. But that's too like. It's unfortunate, and that's the other kind of thing that players have to get around. Like these special resources that players control does give them a one-site hexagon around the special resource. So it gives you kind of like a little bit of intel, like if an army's coming through that area sometimes. We've seen a Burner Boy smash the sisters. Or, sorry, the sister went into the forest and took a bunch of Overwatch. Do we have a Hospitaller to heal? No, not at this point. Okay, we've seen two. Now here's the scary part is he's got two Tank Busters. So the thing is, Kassar probably doesn't want the Immolators to get hit with the rockets. That's definitely he wants to try to avoid that. So he is moving these Guardmen up to kind of try to stop like a tank mine. But the Immolators are actually in an okay spot. The forest is kind of hiding them a bit. Of course, he could be shot at this underneath this ridge here, the one that's almost dead. So we're probably going to see that most likely. We do have a Guardsman in the spot here. So what I think is going to happen is we're going to see a lot of Guardsmen maybe die here and then potentially Immolator die. But I mean, it's going to be a close. The thing is, Sursur has his forces sort of separated now. That could be like a two-edged sword. Yes, it gave him a potential maybe ambush some reinforced units, but they were caught by the special resource. So Kassar saw that, so he repositioned. So now you have these units down here that are not doing anything really. I mean, he could grab the special resources, but again, right now he has this 1 versus 2 up near his base, getting close to his territory. So, and he just lost 2 Burner Boys here. So it's a question of is Sursur going to try to make amends and make Kassar pay for killing his 2 Burner Boys?
Warlock is coming out next turn, though.
Yeah, the Warlock is coming out, but he'll need a couple Warlocks. Like one will be nice, but one's not enough. Exactly.
Now, how many turns does it take to build them at the moment? Yeah, he has a.
Yeah, it's kind of slow because he went double book. He doesn't quite have the production for it, but he will be getting.
Is this gonna be enough?
Yeah, that's why I don't like double book Elder. I feel like the production. It takes you a while to get your production online.
Oh yeah. I think it's a liability, and I mean, soon we're gonna see.
All right. So this could be a gamble, like making Kassar think, "Oh, I'm gonna attack your main base." Kassar is building.
Teleporting the Warlocks. What if he teleports the Warlocks to?
There you go.
To the smoke force,
checkmate. Yeah, but again, that's probably the play, and that's probably what that force was for. He's giving vision, and then the Warlocks are your ace in the pocket. But the thing is, he needs more than just one. One's not going to be enough to kill that city. If he gets
Yes.
2 to 3, now we're talking. Now we're talking with the potential of an upset here. But Khazar is trying to build this ordnance battery. It is kind of scary. I mean, of course, Cernosor does not know exactly how many troops are at that base. He does see a heavy team.
I also wonder what Khazar's going to do.
And if
with
Khazar
the
was
tech-
getting the Bastion tech, that would probably save his base here.
I
No
was gonna
questions
say-
asked.
I was gonna say that the counterplay here from Khazar is to leave that tech priest in the base, and to start working on the Bastion tech immediately. That is his saving grace right now.
Yeah, the
that's what he
Bastion
has.
tech would do wonders for him here. But the thing is, Bastion tech is sort of, you know, it's a preference with most Astra players. And
Yes.
I don't know if Khazar is a Bastion type player. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I can't say, but I think that because Astra has certain, I mean, every army has certain.
Okay, we're seeing
weaknesses.
Orc
I think Bastion is helpful.
killing some units here.
Okay.
Uh,
Oh, that was a big counter strike.
I mean, they didn't kill too many. I mean, he did damage a lot of the models.
Yes.
Now, here's the thing: immortal immolators can do some decent damage, but again, gotta be careful of the tank busters. The big target is get rid of the tank busters, because that's the unit that is destroying your. Okay, so we do
first
see a warlock teleportation at the base, not at. So I guess Cernosur probably thought he must have enough troops at the base, and that one heavy team maybe scared him off.
Yeah, they're choosing to play it safe.
So they're choosing to play a more safer approach with the warlock.
Defensive,
Use the warlock in this opportunity spot.
which is smart because they're buying time right now.
You might notice too, this warlock is in the fog of war for the enemy team. So
Yes,
they did see a
exactly.
teleportation blink in the black fog of war, but they don't know.
They don't know what it is.
Yeah, like again,
It
they
could be a gate.
they could think it's a gate. They could think they don't know necessarily it's a warlock. So if he moves this one guardsman up, he will see. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see.
I'm a little bit worried because Astra doesn't really have a lot of healthy guardsmen anymore, and he does have the medikit, so he can kind of get those units held back. However, they won't be able to fire because it consumes an action. So I wonder what they're gonna do here. I think moving in now would be very risky just due to the small size of.
All right, going for the
army.
tank buster. It looks like
Okay.
going for the boys. The warlock has to target the immolator though. 4 movement, 1, 2, 3. So if the immolator moves in one of these
Okay, bring it down
hexes,
was-
bring down.
was
Okay,
activated.
Super Saiyan from the Commissar. Here we go. Grenade shot, 1 shot. There goes the tank buster. See you later.
Up.
So the question is
Oh,
Sister?
wow.
Yeah, but is Sister
Okay.
going to push these immolators forward? She is, and now she sees the warlock, and look at that damage. Not even buffed with the hammerhand. Once the hammerhand is buffed, it's almost one-shotting. So she's gonna say, "Damn, I'm probably gonna lose my immolator." But again, like I said, that gambit with that orc raiding party didn't quite pay off. Like that's why I'm like, they didn't pull the trigger. Like I said, those units could have been the difference from winning this top engagement.
Ooh, we got a first castigator on the way. Although I will say
Cascadator, yeah.
it's a great tank. Although I think the immolators would actually, funnily enough, be a higher value unit at the moment. But we'll see how the castigator does. I'm not fully familiar with its armament.
So I will say this. I think though, as amazingly as things are, it's still Khazar and Sister are still doing fairly well at this time in the game.
They are.
And it's just unfortunate. I guess things didn't pan out precisely what Cernosur was trying to do. But now are we? I guess we're gonna see the immolator get targeted by the warlocks. Yeah, buffs up and almost one shot. So he'll need a finish. does have a tank buster, but I assume we want to save the tank buster for the other immolator. So Orc Boy, I think will try to finish the. Oh no, here we go, and yeah, that's a cliff. So that Orc Boy's not going to get there.
Cliff is kind of making matters.
Oh, and then you're getting zoned there. Okay, so
Yeah.
he's gonna have to probably use the tank busters. Unfortunate. It's too bad because I think the other tank buster could have killed the other immolators. I think that's what they're looking at right now. They're trying to figure out, can we kill this immolator with something else than the tank buster that's there, because we want to use that tank buster to kill the other one. Yeah, burner boys just don't do enough damage to this type of unit because it's not open top. He could use burner boy plus orc boy that's damaged a bit. That would be enough damage to kill it, and then the other tank buster can go into 22-28 to finish. Okay, no, he chose to play the tank buster behind the warlock, but he needs to kind of here's the thing, you don't want yes, it was nice the warlock took the immolator down, but it would have been more nice if they could have screened the warlock from dying the next turn, because the more he can keep that unit alive, the better. And unfortunately he can't do that because he just doesn't have the army volume right now. His raiding party is, I guess, going through the territory, grabbing special resource, special. We're gonna see another warlock being produced from the main base that will put him to 2 warlocks, but I'm pretty sure he's gonna lose the warlock that just killed the immolator.
Be able to steal the HP relic, which is gonna be nice, no doubt.
Yeah.
However, Khazar's got a second barracks about to go down. He's got a farm. He's got a farm about to be added in his expo, and he has the field ordnance battery about to be completed next turn. Once the battery's out, you're not touching the city.
Yeah, I will say this: the late game is definitely catered towards Khazar's team because Sister has is gonna go for the 3 base, and 3 base will always kind of be a 2 base out in the late game, on paper that is. So we do have a 3 base Sister.
That's right.
Which again, the longer the game goes, Sister's gonna get more powerful.
Yeah,
there goes
so far down with that. Oh, okay.
There goes the warlock. But again, I mean, yes, you could say, well, the warlock traded for an immolator. That was probably worth it. But it's even more worth it if you can kill it and then screen your warlock. That's even better.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. That's a big misplay on the orcs actually part. He should have had orc warboys covering that warlock. Like that's a mistake. I'll call it out.
Again, the terrain is real crappy for the orc player. You got cliffs, and then you've got, because he only has 1 tank buster currently, and it's you know,
not enough.
Like I said, they killed 1 immolator with the warlock, but the warlock got deleted. So the thing is, they keep the warlock count low. You know, where things get kind of scary is once you get a lot of warlocks, because then you're just going through the army, boom, 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 one shot and everything. But yeah, if you know, we'll keep seeing here. Economic wise, Khazar on 2 barracks, 2 base Astra so far. We're seeing more armories kind of getting produced, but only 2 currently available for Sister. Again, Sister is a slower later game. We see a teleportation from Eldar teleporting the 2nd warlock produced, and that thing is going to go on a base hex. Now they have 4 movement, which is quite far, so it should be in a safe area, and then you have the base overwatching as well. Grabs the HP relic. Now that's going to be annoying, and Khazar's economy will be taking kind of a hit here. I mean, losing all these outposts does actually affect your economy in a negative way. So there are some kind of you know, war games going on here in the midst of the actual game. But I actually give the first engagement currently to Sister and Kazar. Now I think Cernosur is going to. Okay, yes, he's going to delete that immolator that was basically almost dead. And that is much better for Orc. Now you don't have to deal with a tank unit. The War Boss will come out. And again, that's another scary unit this early in the game. But, I mean, you do have Kamazar with Bring It Down. So it's kind of like a cat and mouse game. If Cernosur is not tactical enough and not wise with the War Boss, he could put the War Boss in a bad position. Kazar could capitalize on it, bring it down, and then just delete his War Boss. So we'll see how well each team uses their kind of heroes here and who's going to win the hero battle. I'm not going to make any predictions, but I will say Kazar has the wing, so I think he's going to be a lot more tricky to try to kill. I think we're going to see the War Boss probably prioritize the tank vehicles from Sisters. I think that's what we're going to see.
Problem right now. Because the Orc players sent these units here, they created a wedge between Kazar and Sister. Kazar has no way of reinforcing anymore.
Yeah.
And Sister doesn't even have an army.
Right, I mean, she's going for that economic. She's going for that economic. Yeah, like we saw last game. She's going for that high economic mid-late game high army, strong Sister army. Which again, the weakness to that build is, like you said, very minimal army in the early parts of the game. But it will soon pick up, and that's the question: is will there be enough time for her army to come into focus? You know, we are seeing an Orc boy get deleted here, and it mainly thanks to the artillery, the field ordnance. That was a big. Well, actually, the field ordnance didn't do a thing yet, but that's going to be more of a confidence thing. I think the reason why he exposed that. We're going to see an engineer come out, and I guess got to be careful though. The engineer could be, again, they're not super strong versus. Burner Boys one shot the engineer, so he does have an engineer kill here if he Earswe goes in the force, but again, he doesn't have that scouting information. It's in the fog of war, but a little kind of scary there. You don't want to lose an engineer, definitely not.
Yeah.
We see Kazar now. Kazar is slowly bleeding units as well. So, like you said, the reinforcements are cut off pretty soon. Yeah. That Commissar is going to have 1 or 2 units left. Not much of a Commissar to lead his troops. He really wants to be surrounded by the army, and that's. I think we kind of hinted at that. Like, if there's an attrition battle, Kazar is going to ultimately lose it because the Orcs have more production. But again, I mean, Kazar's being very smart. I give it to him this game. Like, he's using the terrain and the cliffs very effectively, which again makes up for having a smaller army. And he is trading a little bit better than the Orcs. But I will say though, he's got to be careful in the next coming turns because the War Boss is going to come online. Another Tank Buster is coming, so a Castigator is en route to back up the army.
He's also producing mechs right now. Mechs are crazy.
Yeah, we're gonna see in the next 2 or 3 turns 2 more Warlocks coming out. Currently, there's only one. Yeah, I mean, Warlocks. I will say this: Warlocks are good, but also Warlocks aren't super amazing in the infantry spam from Astra, right? Because a lot of Astra's infantry is pretty cheap, and it's not the end of the world. Oh, Guardsman dies, not terrible. Where I think the Warlocks are going to shine best if they can attack the hero of each that enemy team, or attack a more high value target such as a Castigator or Exorcist. Those are like the juicy targets that the Warlocks want to go for.
Yes.
Now.
Okay, so Sister's adding another factory for vehicles. She already has 2 in her main, and she's adding an extra 1. So he's very low production for this point in the game. General rule of thumb is every 10 turns you want to have an extra production building. So
Yeah, I think turn 30, you want at the minimum to hit 3 production building at the minimum. And right now,
he's only on 2.
I mean, if you want to count the expansion building, which a lot of people don't generally count your expansion building as a production building, but some factions you can kind of count it as a production building. Like, I mean, Tyranids, you know, kind of get a pseudo military unit at the Zonothrope, right? But overall, like a lot of times people usually don't count the expansion building as being a real production building, military production. So yeah, like you said, Sister is again a lot more slower, but she is now trying to produce 2 more hangars, which are armories. So again, that's like we said, she goes for this more later game build that definitely picks up in the later game. But
yeah, if they're not dead within
right, so there is this kind of, you know, a lot of yeah. But so far, Khazar's been holding his own. Like I'll give it, you know, Khazar played very good last game. In this game, he's doing fairly well. So I think it's really going to rely on, can Sisters give him the army they need to kind of push through this type of build that the Russians are going for. I think if Sister can get another 10, 15 turns, she can get her army production going pretty big. That hurt. So now the thing I wonder though, he could see that burner boy. It was no, it wasn't, right? The outpost was taken. No, the outpost was taken. So okay, he couldn't see the burner boy. All right, so that's what caught him off guard. He didn't, but you know they're out there. So, but yeah, Khazar kind of flew into that one. So he's gonna lose. Now here's the crazy part is if the other player just massed up 3 warlocks and teleported them all to this raiding force that's wedged in between Sister and Khazar, that probably would be enough to bum rush the base and kill the base. But again, the Russian players don't know like the production of Astra, right? That's so like yes, you're given intel of like units on the map, but you don't have like, oh, I can see into the base and I see 3 barracks. He doesn't see that right now. Khazar's only at 2. But that window is starting to close. Like if Khazar can build some 3 to 4 guardsmen, then his base should be probably safe. But yeah, there is that window where if you could teleport, like I said, 3 warlocks with that army, that's scary. That base is in jeopardy.
Yeah.
So we got a level 4 Kamazar. So the bring it down is, I think, really nice. But at this stage, facing these low armor infantry units, I think his bring it down is at this stage enough. Level 2. I don't even think level 3 makes a big difference. But it will make a big difference to the war boss though. So war boss coming out next turn.
Now war bosses do have, I mean, maybe once the war boss picks up some armor items, because out of the gate, the war boss.
The scary thing though is, here's the problem that might bite Cernosar's butt. He's got the war boss rallied towards the trader. The problem is he goes onto that trader. AM has vision of that trader, so AM's gonna see war boss on trader. He has bring it down, so he's gonna say, oh, war boss, even if he buys all the armor this turn, it's a naked war boss for the Astra Militarum this turn.
Oh,
so
yeah.
So right, so all he has to do is make a pathway, a couple hexes, and that war boss is gonna die. So he like, okay, this is the biggest dangly like thing to your face right now. You got a naked war boss that you have vision of that's getting itemized to the teeth to like Rambo war boss. You have a whole force ready to go, heavy teams plus to bring it down plus the accuracy buff. Like he has to take this kill.
You know
But here's
what?
the thing.
I think this is a bait. Because I'll tell you what, if he goes for the war boss, I don't know if he has the damage to put it down.
Right.
And
If he doesn't, this is where you battle pause. You have to battle pause this, I think, because yeah, if he screws up,
units waiting to counter strike him. He has warlocks. He has
right.
boys and a mech
I mean, it'd
and
be
burner boy.
catastrophic if he doesn't kill the war boss.
Yeah.
So I guess I don't know.
I still think you play it safe because time is still on your side. Who cares
Right.
about the war boss? Just
But
play
it's
it
just that
safe.
it's that fact that you literally see a naked war boss with all the items that he bought, and they won't. It's like so tempting to be like, okay, so that's a good
But you know
play.
what?
He's got
You
a burner
also
boy there to
know-
protect it a bit.
It's true, but listen. But you also know that all that investment, if it's not paying itself off right away, it's going to be wasted because the orc just lost his wog. His wog is going to be down, and maybe it's not going to refresh yet. But his
We
wog
saw
is
wall
just
level 10. You know what it is? Because his army shrunk a lot.
small.
Cernosaur lost a lot of boys over the last few turns. Like he's been bleeding more. That's why I say Kazar's playing a better infantry game versus him. Like he's losing less infantry than Cernosaur. Cernosaur's losing more infantry. These guys.
I think the other thing they're doing is they're holding a choke point here. This is a choke point with all these cliffs, and they're holding.
So we
really
see a
well.
buffed up castigator going in to get rid of these annoying raiding party. There is a warlock
okay.
there to punish. We're seeing the heavy ordnance come in. It's gonna knock. Whoa. Okay, grenade. So the artillery team said, "Heck no, we're just gonna grenade you from our position," which is kind of comical, but okay.
Well, the guardsman can't finish it because he already moved.
Yeah. Yeah, so Burner Boy, still has one model left. The question is, the Cascador is not open top. So again, he has this.
The warlock can one-shot the field ordnance battery, actually.
Yeah, well, that would be the play because the Cascador, he is definitely not going to one-shot it. Maybe if he gets cleansing does a lot of damage, but I don't. We haven't seen that research just yet. They're not advancing the war boss. I guess maybe we see a battle pause here. Maybe he wants to calculate things out. Like I said, it could be the best bait I've ever seen. Okay, no, I think he moved. Did he move back a unit? Yeah, he's moving back. Okay, so yeah, it's too risky, like you said. Even if he does kill it, then the army's just gonna kill you. Because army's quite small. And I think that was the right play. But now you have to be more on the defense now, because now you got a war boss that's kitted out. You got warlocks now supporting the orc army, so you got to be a little more careful. And then I guess they're gonna take out the heavy ordnance battery. But then you have the Cascador on the prowl here, some one shots. And another thing is the Dialogus is gonna have to be a little careful too, because look at go to the warlock. Click on the warlock. This is not even with the melee buff. Look how much damage it does to the Dialogus. So with the melee buff, it probably one-shots him. Now Dialogus doesn't have the armor up, but it doesn't make a huge difference because just warlocks do so much raw damage to this type of unit. So again, that's another way.
The Witchfire damage reduction. I don't know how much that will.
Oh, okay.
Claim.
Okay, so no, that does actually work on witches because they're. I think one of their attacks is Witchfire. Let's see.
Well, warlocks are all Witchfire because it's spells.
Yeah, but does that?
Yeah, Witchfire. See, Cleansing Flame on the bottom says Witchfire.
Okay, yeah. So that ability is Witchfire, but I think their gun is not Witchfire. Their melee weapon doesn't say Witchfire. So it's just protecting her from a Cleansing Flame, which again, the normal attack does enough damage anyways. So you don't even have to Cleansing Flame. I think Witchfire's more like zones are a good example because they're both their
Yes, they
attacks are Witchfires.
Yep. And probably Maleceptors too.
Yeah, Maleceptors too. Yeah. I mean, I guess on a tank commander, cleansing flame does more damage than hammerhand. So yeah, I guess if you wanted the tank commander have better survivability, I guess a Witchfire wouldn't be terrible. But that's the item you don't. I don't know if that was a free pickup or she literally bought it. Probably a free pickup. It is, like I said, it will help against cleansing flame, but the general melee attack actually does pretty ridiculous damage anyways.
Plenty. Yeah. Okay. So we got a little bit of a Mexican standoff here.
Yeah.
We'll see what.
But again, you know, these warlock counts are going to start to go up and up. So that's the scary part. Okay, so we see guardsmen coming out. Obviously. Now here's the scary part. If he goes in this hex spot, guardsman's going to get super punished. So hopefully he goes to this ruin spot. Okay, actually perfect. So you use the to get rid of the overwatch. Okay, so very nice. And then that gives you the ability to go in there and grenade. Yeah. So both teams are, I think at this point, Sister and Khazar are playing more smarter and better than the Russians currently. But again, things could change real quick. One bad play from the Khazar team could easily change the game.
I think moving that tech priest up to take that, once again, is a little bit of a misplay, but whatever.
Right, that's a engineer kill if he wants it.
Yeah, they should be protecting those
and I think they're gonna go for the engineer kill because I think Cerno knows I'm gonna get chased down by the Cascadator. I might as well just do a bonsai charge on the engineer and take the engineer with me. You know what I'm saying?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Might as well.
So again, that is painful. Like again, you know, Astra Militarum, the engineers are very they're a very good unit.
Because they cost energy. They cost energy.
Cost energy. They're expensive to build. So losing one early, because we're still turn 31. You got to remember, they sim turned off really early in the game. So we're still kind of in the early game, really. Not until we get to turn 35. But yeah, so that losing that engineer is going to be, like I said. And again, it was kind of greed, though, because like he knows burner boys are out there. So yes, you're going to get your science outposts, but you could have got it a turn later and would have been safe for your engineer.
And the other aspect is the engineer's high value because
could heal the sister tanks exactly. So this is a huge loss.
Yeah, exactly.
Machine Spirit also.
Which he doesn't have yet, but I'm guessing at some point he may be
yeah.
willing to pick it up.
Well, definitely he'll pick it up for sister, but yeah. So he's probably saying something. Oh, I shouldn't have moved my engineer there. He's probably upset about this move. Oh, even one shot because it was on fungus. It healed. So when orc units are on fungus, they heal. Yep. Kind of like Necron. So they become like Necron warriors when they're on fungus.
They do. Yeah, they're crazy. Orcs can be very strong when properly utilized. And once again, he's producing another tech priest, but he's never going to get it back. And his economy, his energy's in the hole right now. He's losing.
All right, so we're seeing some aggression from Orc. War Boss did make a move. He has the axe, so that's doing quite significant damage to infantry.
He is. He's almost one-shotting guardsmen now.
Yeah. We'll see Orc Boy take some Overwatch damage, and that should be enough. War Boss plus the boys that should delete the guardsmen in the forest.
Yep.
We're gonna see Burner Boys. Here we go again. But he didn't need to do it if he's going for the front unit. Mech Boys coming in. Ooh, grenades. Okay, Mech Boys will use grenades to finish off the two Battle Sisters.
This is gonna hurt.
Warlock coming in on. Now that's nice. I think that was the right call. Use Warlocks on the very front troops. because then you can screen the Warlock now,
Yes.
which is you want to keep alive. That's what I've been trying to say. Okay, wow. So a demoraled infantry gets one shot. So he maximized that a lot. All right, so now we're seeing the power of this orc kind of charge, and the fact that, like I said, Khazar's, yes, he was doing so well, but it just took one little kind of good alpha strike from orc, and now he's the number game is not on his side any whatsoever. We have a warlock. Warlock is almost. Oh, we almost have a common kill here. He just needs a range. Oh, he does not have a range unit. Oh, that's heartbreaking. He literally has almost a commie kill here. Now here's cleansing fire. He has cleansing fire. That might be enough. I can't remember the damage. So here's the sad part is he has to.
Times 4? Whoa, that's a lot of damage. I think their commie may be dead.
Yeah, with cleansing flame maybe. So the only thing is he has to get to one tile away. And I don't know. He ran out of time. I guess he ran. I wasn't sure. I think cleansing would have been enough to kill the Kamazar. I think.
0.6 health. I think, dude, if
he ran out of time, I think he panicked, and so you just hit the attack button. But he's got wings. You see, that's the thing.
Yeah.
You had to kill it because the wings would just get him to safety. But Khazar escaped a bullet there with the Kamazar. Like both butt cheeks are clenched, and he is probably waving a sigh of relief. But here's the thing. His army got smashed that turn. So again, Sister has to carry Khazar at this point. Sister needs to.
Khazar is not existing.
Khazar's kind of out of this for a while because he has no army to support the Kamazar.
Yes.
He has a couple guardsmen left. That's it. Reinforcements are going to take a long time.
This is why I personally have a problem with
the immolators got taken out, so you got no transports to effectively move these troops quick to Sister. This is looking bad, man. This is looking. I will just be honest with you. Warlocks are gathering. We have a base from Sisters that might get sieged by the Green Horde plus Warlocks, and that is not a good sight. We've got Warlocks also playing mind games, teleporting down here. They're putting a lot of pressure on Khazar and Sister right now. Sister needs to get her production up. Now, here's the thing. Exorcists are a very good unit, high damage unit. But again, if you can spam Warlocks enough, the Warlocks can trade better than the Exorcists can.
Yes. Not against this army.
So I feel, and I hate to say this, at this point, I got my money currently on the Russians right now. I feel like...
I do too. I do too. I think they have a good strategy, even though their execution maybe at the front was a little bit lackluster.
Yeah, the early was a little lackluster.
They've pulled it together, and they're finally supporting each other the way they should have.
And don't forget, you got that war boss. That's Chuck Norris stout right now.
Yes, yes, that war boss is a big factor, and the worst part is, they have no answer for it.
Right, and he's kitted to deal with the Khazar infantry. So, all right, so we're seeing orc wanting to go to the south base. Okay, so that is the weaker base. That's
another Warlock teleport.
Right. Okay, so I think that is the safer play. We pushed Astra back. We pushed Sister back a bit. But this front base that Sister put out, that might cost us the game there. Because Sister took she put a forward base out there.
Why did she go so far forward with that base? That was greedy.
Well, the thing is, it wouldn't be greedy if they had the army to... But Sister's army was too small. Khazar went for an early hero smaller army, which backfired a little bit because Cernosur went with big horde army with orc. And now we're seeing the Warlocks threaten the game now.
You know what's really funny? I actually had a discussion today in a random game that I did with a player named Snorri. And Snorri was on my team. And Snorri had a huge Astra army. When I mean huge, I mean he had like 40 infantry. His screen, he covered the entire screen with Astra infantry. He had guardsmen in the front, heavy weapons, and snipers in the back. It was like layered, dude. And he had no hero. And I asked him, like, dude, a Commissar would value this army so greatly. He goes, He goes, he goes, yes, but then I would have less than half the units, and he goes, I can't, it won't work. I won't have the
Yeah,
mass.
I think, and
I agree.
I hope Kazar doesn't take this personal, but I'm not a fan. I understand what he was trying to do with his build, but he needed more production. Like he needed that third barracks quicker. And like he was doing really well in that first kind of engagement with the terrain, but that production from the Orc and now from Eldar is too much for him. And Sister has a much slower build, so I think he needed to match. He needed to match more production. But I know he's gonna say, well, you know, I didn't have a good. They read. Remember they read. I thought the first read they didn't need to read. But we didn't really check Sister's side. But I thought that game would have went probably better for Kazar's team. But then the Russians read, and then. So this is where we're at right now, but I'm very skeptical. I mean, you got a lot of warlocks in position to hit this Sister forward.
He grabs a stun grenade on his commissar.
Yeah, that's to counter the war boss, but
it's too little, too late though, unfortunately.
But these warlocks are gonna slice and dice this base, and the real question is, can Sister still play the late game with the 2 base? She invested a lot on this third base. It costs a lot of resources to build this third base, and it has one.
Cancel that building right away.
Yeah,
cancel that
that's if it can survive one turn. We're seeing a lot of damage here. So again, that's an investment.
Hold on.
Oh, cleansing flame, huge damage, 17 damage. Yeah, cleansing flame is no joke, man. It's such a high.
17.9.
Yeah. All they need is a range something to knock it down, but it looks like they don't have a range. But that's going down next turn, and they don't have units in range to really counterattack that effectively. Even if they do, the warlocks are going to kill the base and then kill whatever units are trying to kill them.
Oh, yeah.
So, again, you got a base down from Sisters, and her 3-city game that she did so well last game backfired on her. It seems like the Russians studied it a little bit or took notice of it, and they said, well, let's play the Russian tech game, and let's kill one of their bases, since they do. Now here's the weird part. Kazar, the second game with Kazar was a very, very good production build from him. Like he was building a nice big army. We didn't see that from this game. We saw a barracks early, but then Hero, then no production for a really long time. So it was kind of a, like I said, it's a build where if everyone went standard in smaller armies, fine, I can see it working. But again, we didn't see that. We saw a horde army from Orc and a very high-tech infantry army from Eldar. Yeah. And seems...
I don't want to be too hard on Kazar, but I think he mismanaged his econ this game, because he only has two racks. You should have 3-4 racks in your main with this build.
I think you know what threw it off was they declared Sim off really early, and he interpreted that there was my allies in critical danger. I gotta buy the wing instead of the icon, where the icon probably would have helped him get the expansions out a little bit quicker. But at the same time, I don't blame him, because that could have been the actual result. There could have been a full-on rush on Sister, and he needed that combat item. But again, tough position. Unfortunately, I just think it came down to the builds were countered by the Russians way better. Like they came with a game plan, and they really capitalized on this time around.
I agree. They really did.
And that's definitely going to affect, if you look in Sisters, Sisters in the minus energy shortage.
Has Eldar been on 2 base the whole time? He has, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, because Eldar went for a very all-in, high double book into Warlock timing push. Kind of similar to a timing push from Land Speeders. You know, when they get the Melta weapon real early, like turn 35, 36. Very similar.
Okay, so I
And
like this War Boss build very much, and I like the fact he has temporary shield on him now, which means the War Boss is up to 7 armor. Not
but I
bad.
will say this, you know, me personally, I know how good Cerno Sur is with orcs. Like that's literally his best faction. Like he's really good with this faction. I'm just surprised that they didn't want to ban that first. I know they could say, well, but then they'll choose Dark Elf. But I've seen him play Dark Elf. He's not as good. He's much better with Orc, in my opinion.
I agree.
And I'm not. I'm what I'm saying is, I think they had a better shot versus him playing Dark Elder than playing Orc. To be honest.
I agree with you. I agree with you. Yeah, that is true. I think it's not about banning the.
I think they should have thought more about that because everybody picked their main factions and now you're seeing one team that is basically go. I know what you guys are gonna do and we're gonna counter that and you got, you know, I don't know. I think it would have been interesting if they right off the bat ban Orc. He doesn't get his main faction. Make him play a faction that he's not, you know, God tier with, and then you know that gives you kind of an advantage, I think, in my eyes. All right, so that base is down. It looks like they want to squeeze the noose on Sister, knowing that the reinforcement line is quite long to get to Sister. That seems like probably the play here from the Russians. And you know what's so like when I saw game 2, I said, "Damn." Khazar and Sister, they look really strong that game. Like wow, like they stomped all over the Russians that game 2. Like it was pretty decisive. And then we go fast forward into this game, completely different story. Like but the tactics and strategies were changed quite a bit. But that's the thing about Gladius is it's definitely one of those games where there's a lot of mind games, a lot of you know, a lot of things come into factor, right? Even the faction picks, the ones that synergize differently. If you're playing against a player and you know that they feel more comfortable with this faction, in this tournament setting, you can ban their faction. So these are things I think, I'm not saying that's why they might lose the game because they didn't ban Orc right off the bat. But what I'm trying to say is teams that are going further in the tournament, this is a strategy that is not a bad idea. Another thing is you could get them to play the faction you think they're going to pick. Like, so you ban their main faction, they're going to pick Dark Elder or whatever. But maybe you're more prepared for Dark Elder. Maybe you have a game plan that, oh, I'm going to do this specific build to counter the witches. So I think you can almost like, you know, force your opponent to do what you want them to do.
You face them? How about you ban Orcs, force them to pick Dark Elder, and then you pick Orcs yourself with Burna Boys, for example, to just double clown them, man.
Right.
It's like a psychological.
Exactly.
Right? You're like, here you go. Here's the meta. It's wide and open for you. Go for it, buddy. Go for it.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, you're just playing directly into our trap because we already have a perfect counter for you. And guess what? It happens to be your main.
Yeah.
So you know, there's a lot of psychology here that we're definitely seeing playing out, and that's another aspect of this game that is definitely not talked about or explored a lot.
Yeah, and I think that's the nice, cool part of this tournament is it is giving you a little bit more spice within the realms of just playing a Gladius game, right? There's that kind of even though some players are kind of like, oh, it's an interesting kind of thing to add to the tournament, I think it makes it a lot more interesting because it's a best of 3, and you do come into contact with players that feel very comfortable with certain factions, and having that knowledge, you can force them maybe into a faction that they're maybe don't like playing, or you know, they're not feel totally comfortable with this faction. And that's why I said at the tournament, I said to players, make sure you practice with at least a few factions that you feel you might want to pick in the tournament, because if say you only play Necron, and that's you're the best Necron player in the game, but guess what? Maybe the team first ban they do Necron. Now what are you going to do? What faction are you going to play? So you know, most of the good players in this game can play multiple factions, but there are some players that are kind of like I say, Cernos Sir, very good player, but again, he's very good with Orc. Like that's his literally bread and butter faction. And I think it was a missed opportunity. Like we said, I think they were scared of Dark Elder, but again, they did game number 1. They faced Dark Elder. They killed the Dark Elder base, so it's not like, you know, Dark Elder was smashing them. In fact, I actually think Dark Elder was the weakest in that game for game 1.
I agree, and I actually think that at this point in the game, like what we see here, Eldar with the Warlocks, man, this is gonna be very dangerous here.
Oh yeah, because what can happen here? Oh man, this Warlocks everywhere. They don't like Exorcists are great, but they don't like look at the damage from a Warlock and cover from an Exorcist. Like that's doing nothing.
No, Exorcists are not a good unit. Why is he building them? They're facing infantry.
But that's the thing about Gladius, right? People have this mindset. Yes, Exorcists are super strong. They're a really good unit. Everyone moans about Exorcists, but guess what? Chaff type units, especially Warlocks, they just demolish Exorcists.
They're anti-infantry. I mean, it says even in the description. Okay, now I'm not telling everybody to just read the descriptions and whatever it says that's what the unit does.
Yeah,
that's not always the case. But when it says anti-armor missile launcher vehicle, it's pretty clear. And then when you look and hover over the weapon damage profile, you can clearly tell that it only has damage 6, 3 attacks, and armor penetration of 6. This is this is anti-vehicle.
Yeah, it's anti-vehicle, and it's amazing anti-vehicle. But in this, she shouldn't keep producing Exorcists. Like you said, I think she's in that mindset of, oh, this is a really good unit, and I should be producing it. But in this matchup, it's bad. It's a bad matchup. It's kind of like I saw a game where someone produced the Trine effects. Yeah, and it was against an Astra infantry build, and it was so terrible. Like it would take like 5 attacks to kill 1 guardsman. And I said, put your ego aside. I know you just unlocked this really big unit, but it's terrible in this matchup. Don't build it. And yeah, so this is kind of similar. Like yes, she beeline to Exorcist, but again, it's not doing any good in this matchup. It's like kind of like the Rangers. Not as bad as the Rangers, but it's like up there. It's like Rangers versus vehicles, not a good thing to have.
Funny thing is, this is the game where the Rangers would have been whooping serious ass.
Yes, yeah, definitely. But and that's the beauty about Gladius. It's like, and I still think the best is to, the moment you have the intel of that's the type of build my opponent's going, tech switch into Rangers, or tech switch into the anti-infantry stuff.
Which is why I like that a lot of the kind of.
So she is being smart now. You notice she's producing a castigator, which is much better versus infantry. But again, Warlocks, like,
not good enough.
Yeah, so. And Khazar needed to have the volume of guardsmen. He needed to have that big flesh wall that they could withstand the mass kind of.
You know what his mistake was actually? I realized what happened. I realized how and why his economy crashed. Number one, he didn't get enough ore off the bat. He didn't get enough ore because the barracks buildings cost 50. Sorry, not 50. That's
he's getting cock blocked by poxwalkers too. On top of that, the so production building's not building for him. Yeah, I mean, he must be cursing right now. Like nothing's going right for me. Okay, here we go. We got some Overwatch eaten by some of the low cost units. We've got a mech boy that's gonna clear the wire weed.
Yeah.
And we got a lot of guardians in position. I guess they're gonna go for the.
I'm gonna call this operation. I'm gonna call this. This is the dragon closing its maw, closing its mouth around its prey.
So no more Overwatch except for a heavy team. He's in the right setting for the heavy team, but again. It moved that round, so it's not doing full damage. Now he can go in with. Now he has to watch out for Overwatch from the city. 1, 2, 3. Burner Boy coming in. Yeah, they're slicing and dicing right now.
There's no chance. There's
again,
no chance.
And now heroes. I just want to say, the Khazar team did not by all means play terrible. Again, this is high level play. These are high level players. And here's the thing, high level players, they don't take no prisoners. You do the wrong build or the wrong tactics, they're going to make you pay for it. And again, this was kind of one of those games where they picked the right builds, the right combos, and Khazar and Sister fell short. And not to say that they're bad players, it's just that's just the nature of this sort of skill level in this tournament. Again, you can go back and nitpick and, oh, I should have did this, I should do that. But again, this is what the tournament's all about. It's getting the very best players, best teams, and to see who is the best at vanilla Gladius, basically, unmodded.
You know what? I think that Commissar and that wing, I think that was the beginning of the end for them. Because if you could have had that third base down, and if you could have had double the infantry,
yeah, definitely the production was a big sore spot for Khazar.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I think that was a big deal. So now I understand what players mean. For example, when they say that, you know what, a hero can cost you a lot of infantry.
Yeah.
And,
here's my take on it. Early hero is a big gamble. Now here's the thing. There's different types of early heroes. There's a captain that early captain translate into a better economy for influence and acts as a tank zoner, which is critical in zoning horde armies, right? A horde army can't get by a captain. So, but a commissar is not that, right? Commissar is not that. So I think
a liability hero because
right. It needs the mass. It needs troops, which his build didn't have. So I would have probably gone a later commissar, build the mass first, get the later commissar out. It'll come leveled up even a little bit. That would have been, I think, a better build for Khazar. But he went for this really early hero and no icon. So if you go a really early hero, you got to icon him up. It's not worth it, right? Like I said, it's that's the only like early hero in the game. You have to kind of go icon. I think I'm very. It's too much of a low army substitute if you don't.
You can go icon, but there's only one problem too. He's so fragile that he becomes.
Yeah, he's not. I don't think that early commissar is worth it. I think a later commissar in the game is more realistic. But again, we're backseat gaming here a little bit, but at the same time, we're trying to give a kind of a idea of where we think the other team went wrong, and logically that seems to be, to me, the most problematic part of what I see from game 3 of Khazar.
Yeah. For example, if you notice, the war boss was added much later, right? He got a full item stack, and you could argue he didn't really do all that much because whether the war boss was here or not, this game still would have been won, right?
Yeah.
So he wasn't like,
the war boss is icing on the cake, basically, at this point.
Exactly. It's a cherry on top, and so I think that they basically proved the kind of point that if you match up infantry versus vehicles.
Yeah, a lot of people, they badmouth infantry. It's funny. They're like, "Oh, we can't win infantry." Like we're seeing games in the tournament where infantry is clobbering the vehicles. And likewise, we're also seeing vice versa. But you got to put into factor like the turn time, the tempo of how big the armies are. Again, infantry can overrun mech armies, right? So especially with this high caliber warlocks. Okay, war boss is gonna do the finishing touches here. The champagne is out. They're high-fiving, and are we gonna get a good game at this point? I mean, 2 bases down. You're down to 1 base. The army's still intact. You're demoralized. I mean, I know it's game number 3. I mean, this is the elimination game, but they have to see that it's a fruitless ambition at this point to try to win this game at this, like, they barely have an army left. Sister, everything is broken.
It's not that they don't have an army. Yeah, they have no army, but they also have no economy. I
mean, you know, this is game 3, so I mean, of course, they don't want to lose this game because that kicks them out of the tournament, but the writing's on the wall. In fact, they had a commissar kill right there, but he just chose to kill the tank instead.
Yeah.
But at this point, who cares about? Okay, there we go.
He's free.
Yeah, he's
free.
boom, dead. Yeah, he had no troops to even buff anyways, so it's kind of a useless commissar at that point.
Pretty much. Pretty much.
All right, so there's the GG. So we are going to see the Russians, Cernosur and Yurga advance to the semifinals. And that was a very good series. Yeah, game 1, guys, was not uploaded due to other technical reasons, but that was a marathon game. That was a 100-turn game. Then we went to game 2. That was a kind of a turn, 40-ish game ended, and then this similar. But this third game was a lot more aggression, a lot more bouncing around, raiding parties and fights. So I think overall we saw some good games, but we also saw a lot of like I said, a lot of the mental stuff, a lot of things going on. I felt like the Russians learned from game 2 more than
they did.
Yeah,
they did learn from game 2. They adapted perfectly. Meanwhile, Khazar and Sister said, "You know what? It worked the first time. It's going to work the second time." The Russians said, "You know what?
I think, sir, I believe, sir, was like, okay, I saw you went green with me on game 2. I'm gonna punish you for that. I'm gonna go with huge army, and you're not gonna have that army in time to do what you did in game 2.
Look at the econ too. Like, it's fairly respectable. Like he has only production buildings basically in his base. And look at the econ that he actually had, only on 2 bases. It's like kind of impressive. Just two bases. Yeah, 2 bases is very strong up to turn 40. As you get into close to 50, the 3 bases easily overtakes it. But no, for short-term games like this, 2 bases is definitely more stronger if you can end the game. It's the problem is when you get in a stalemate situation. Then a 3 baser has the advantage over a 2 baser, but we didn't see that this game. Anyways, congratulations to the Russian team. They'll be in the semifinals, and thank you, Falana, for casting both games here, back to back. Thank you for having me. That was
And
fun.
I initially wasn't gonna cast the 3rd game, but I said, "What the hell? Let's cast the 3rd game." So.
I kind of got excited for it. I was like, "What? They want to go again? All right, yo, let's see this. Get settled right here, right now. Okay, boys, let's do it."
Right.
That was fun.
Yeah. I
So
mean,
good
turn one,
effort.
I told Sister, prepare for a rush. Go full rush. We have to rush. She goes book first.
But could she do book first into an army? Like, is it possible? I don't play sisters at all, so I don't know.
Yeah, bro, sisters can have an insane infantry force very early if they go a proper build. Their infantry's very
So
strong.
she didn't kind of. Okay, got it.
Yeah, she ignored it, and we were on to heavy